I'm not gonna mince words. I'm gonna try to finish a book a day this week. I want to prioritize reading this week. And not because of a readathon, and not because of a reading challenge, but because I challenged myself. I looked in the mirror and I said, Emma, read. But today I would like to finish reading The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. This is a reread for me, although I read it years and years, probably a decade ago to be honest. And I am rereading very slowly at a snail's pace the Bridgerton series before the Netflix show comes out. Only like 15% of the way through it, but I'm very happy about it. So that is what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna read Viscount Who Loved Me. On that note, I actually have a bunch of work I have to do, so that reading will happen in the evening. It's 5:30. I am, I don't know, like 20 or 30% into The Viscount Who Loved Me. Can I tell you guys something? Hate to love just hits different in historical romances, but specifically Regency era. Yes, Jane Austen did popularize it in some ways with Pride and Prejudice, a very early, very popular version of Hate to Love. But with Regency era romance, because it's written modern day, we get that spicy, modern dialogue with more fancy words, but with those horrific gender divides that we just hate to see. So it's fun when like the male character says something really awful and like in a moment of anger and you're like, he could ruin this girl's life like forever and she'd have nothing. She would have nothing. So soft for these characters. I'm so soft for them. Like Anthony Bridgerton, who is the eldest Bridgerton son, who's the main male character in this book, is helping the main lady character work through a panic attack, and it's just very sweet, and they're talking about their family, and it's just I'm very soft for it. I'm very soft for it. I won't spoil how or why the two main characters get together, but it is the most contrived, wonderful, weird thing. Do I love these characters? Do I want them to be together? Obviously. Do I love a marriage? Not by convenience even. I do love a marriage by convenience, but a marriage because you have to get married? Yes. But you also love each other? Yes. But it is contrived. A little bit of my bold rock spilled, but that's okay. Currently there are hummingbirds everywhere, which is terrifying but delightful. I'm actually nearly done with the book because this is a collection of the first 3 books and I have read the first one, and so it says I'm at 56%, but I'm probably closer to 80%. So I finished The Viscount Who Loved Me. Oh my god, I loved it so much. I had already read it, but I didn't remember really anything that happened except for the big plot device, the contrived one. And yes, this book isn't perfect. The first book in this series is really not perfect and super problematic. And the second book even is so much better than the first. Yeah, some of the things that like they say to each other is like wouldn't really fly, I think, even in a Regency romance today. Just being like a little possessive or aggressive, but generally this book is so sweet and the two main characters love each other so much and like love each other and like help each other through their pain and their trauma, and like it's just so tender. It's really cute and funny. It's a funny book. Yeah, I would honestly, if you were gonna like read the Bridgerton series, I would start with the second one and then go from there, because the first one really is quite problematic, and you get to see those characters in the second book and see them like not in a problematic situation, which I think is cool. But anyway, day 1, finished a book today, so that's exciting. Excited for tomorrow. So hello, it's Tuesday, it's almost 9. I have a 9 a.m. meeting. but I'm sitting outside to work until it gets so hot I can't even stand it. But I'm gonna try to read here and there. Maybe I can start an audiobook, but I'm just feeling really good after yesterday. Like, I just enjoyed that book so much and like read it so quickly, and just my confidence is back. Nature everywhere. I just want to read an autumn book. That's all I want to read right now. But I don't think I have anything really autumny. So I think I'm just gonna do, wow, no thank you. Because essays are very easy for me to get through. So I think this is what I'm gonna read. Decided to pick up the audiobook for Wow No Thank You on the Libro FM site. I switched my Audible subscription to this because this is just a more ethical way to get your audiobooks, besides using Scribd in the library. So I decided to pick this up. I'm really enjoying reading the physical book, and I might switch back to it at the end. But for now, audiobook time. I just got done with singing lessons. I've been taking singing lessons for 6 months because I decided in January that I was going to invest in my hobbies in 2020. Little did I know that I'd have plenty of time to invest in my hobbies in 2020. I also said that I wanted to travel somewhere every single month. I wanted to go somewhere. Didn't have to be far, but I wanted to go on a weekend trip every single month this year. Anyway, I'm halfway through Samantha Irby's fabulously funny Wow No Thank You. I really, really like it. I'm listening to an audio, and I think this is the preferred method to listen to this book because she's so funny and she's such a good narrator of her own life, obviously, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm painting and I'm doing this, and I'm gonna try, definitely going to finish this so I meet my goal for today. We love just moving through different genres. I finished the painting. It's just a little October painting because I wish it was fall. Currently very gorgeous right now. I am gonna physically finish the book because I'm falling asleep listening to the audiobook. It's a good audiobook, but I think I need to engage my brain a little bit. I finished it. It's 11. I did it. This one was a little tougher today. I didn't expect it to be as long as it was. The audiobook was 10 hours, and I was listening to most of it at 1.25 because when I listen to memoirs, I like to really get a sense of the person, and if I go too fast, I don't get that. So it took me a lot longer to get through this than it probably would have if it had been fiction. I know what I'm gonna read tomorrow. It's noon and I still have bedhead. If that is not the quarantine life, I don't know what is. It is Wednesday, so I'm listening to Rainy Night Coffee Shop Ambiance with relaxing jazz music and rain sounds - 8 hours. So if you wanted to Shazam that, I did it for you. I would like to read Modern Lovers today, which I talked about yesterday. I love Emma Straub. I bought this book a while ago when it came out. I have 2 copies of it. If I was someone who did giveaways, I would give it away. I think by a giveaway though, for me, I'm probably just gonna give it to a friend if I like the book. So, that's what I like to read. But this boy is kind of chunky. It's over 300 pages, 350 pages. I don't finish that, or I get to a certain point in the book and I'm like, I'm too tired, I can't finish it. I'm gonna read Mooncakes, which is a really cozy looking book, and I am in a serious fall mood, thanks to folklore, and also thanks to the fact that I really hate summer a lot. And I want to think about the fall, which in South Carolina, the fall doesn't happen until really mid-October, so I have so many more months of hell to deal with, but that's okay. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm not explaining that. So basically, All Adults Here is already fantastic. I think I've realized in a couple of their clips I've said Modern Lovers, which is Emma Straub's last book, which I really love, but this is All Adults Here. If you don't know anything about Emma Straub's writing, she writes family dramedies, is the best way I can describe them. She has a very specific place-oriented writing style, which is my favorite kind of writing style. You get a real understanding of the settings in which her books are written, and she writes really interesting, funny, quirky, likable, but also unlikable characters that feel really human. I just think she's so good at what she does, and I'm loving this book so much already. This book is like so compulsively readable because everything Emma Straub writes is very compulsively readable. Like if you want to read something that I guess is technically literary fiction, I think she's really accessible and full of like joy in her writing. I will say that one of the tropes of literary fiction that I hate is cheating and crumbling marriages. And I get that that's something that happens all the time in real life, but I'd like to read a literary fiction novel where cheating or crumbling marriage didn't occur. What are we doing, Mom?
We're enjoying our glasses of wine.
Where?
In our garage.
With the door down.
With the door down and the air conditioning blowing from the inside of the house.
Love to see it. Y'all, I drank too much. I wanted to like drink the rest of the red wine that I had, and it really wasn't that much. It's probably like this much. And then my mom said she wanted it because she likes red wine, so I said, I'll drink rosé. I was like, I'll finish the bottle of rosé that I have in there, which was like this much. And now I'm a bit tipsy. So I don't feel like I'm gonna finish this today. My brain is putty. It's putty. Do I have anything that's shorter than mooncakes? I'm 2 days in and I'm already like, I gotta have something shorter than mooncakes, because mooncakes is very long. Yes, I like Coke. What is it to you? I don't even know where I'm pointing. I got this little guy that my friend Hannah got me, which is a graphic novel version of Emma. I don't know how, oh, it's a lot of words. Okay, never mind. I don't feel good about there being anything. I've read almost everything in this area. Well, she's, yeah, well, we know about her. In all adults here, I'm literally at the halfway point. 175, book is 350 pages. There's no way that I will finish this tonight. I could read mooncakes, but my brain is putty. I'm instead going to read Go to Sleep, I Miss You by Lucy Nicely, which is a series of little tiny comics, and it's very easy to get through. Because this is my life and I can do what I want, I'm not going to read anything today. I'm sorry you went through the absolute chaos that was earlier, but I'm very tired because I had a lot of wine. Just my goal would be to read 7 books in 7 days instead of every single day read a book. Finish this tomorrow and then start something else and we'll see what it is. For now though, I'm gonna watch TikTok and then I'm gonna go to sleep. Hello. I woke up this morning. I feel fine. I made another insanely decadent latte. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do today. Besides work, obviously. I'm gonna finish All Adults Here. That's the plan so far. We'll see what happens. Yesterday was a little bit of a disaster, but this is my reading challenge that I made up, so I can do what I want. So it's currently 6 o'clock. I've made pretty good progress on Magic for Liars by Sarah Galey, which I'm listening to on audio at like 1.5 speed. I really, really like it. It gives me a similar vibe of Truly Devious, which is my favorite series I've read so far this year, but it's an adult novel. It's really good. The narration's really good. It's about, as I explained, a detective who has to go, she's like a regular person, and she has to go solve a murder at a school for mages. But right now, I'm gonna finish All Adults Here because I only have probably like 70 pages left. So I'm gonna power through the rest of this. I'm really loving it. This is gonna, I think, be a favorite of the year. I feel that way. This is a really sweet book. I'm almost done. And then I will give you guys my thoughts, but currently I'm in my feels. I just finished All Adults Here by Emma Straub. Holy crap, I think I read my favorite book of the year. I think I've done it. This is basically a story about a family who aren't communicating very well, and it's told from the perspective of a bunch of different family members. It's so good. It's set in a small town outside of New York City, which I love small town books. It's like one of my kryptonites is books about small towns and communities. It's a queer story on multiple levels. It's really funny and smart and sweet and like so good. So good. If you want to read something that'll just make your heart happy, this is definitely it. I mean, I read it fairly quickly for an adult fiction, general fiction, literary fiction, whatever, novel. I love Emma Straub. Every book she writes, it just gets better and better. Like The Vacationers was pretty good, and then she wrote Modern Lovers, which was even better, and then she wrote this, which is even better than Modern Lovers. So I would recommend it. It is so good. It's Friday. It's Friday at 2:47, so I haven't updated y'all at all today. But I just finished Magic for Liars by Sarah Galey, and meh. So Magic for Liars, as I've described like 4 times, is an adult fantasy about a woman who is a private detective, and she has to go solve a mystery at her estranged twin sister's school that she works at. It's a magic school. I was really intrigued by this concept. It has a great cover. I like murder mysteries. I like magical murder mysteries. I like boarding schools for mages or magicians or whatever. But I think that this book was trying to do more than it accomplished. Meaning that it was pretty serious, which is totally fine, but it got to the point where it felt like maybe the author was trying to be more profound than, in my opinion, they were able to actually accomplish with the writing. It felt a little forced, a little pushed. I wanted to be a little shocked at the end, and I wasn't really. I sort of predicted everything that happened. I will say, don't read this for the thriller or the mystery aspect of this book. Read it for the fact that it's kind of a dark fantasy book, which is kind of fun. Not super into it. It was a good audiobook. It's a quick read. I think it's good for Halloween season. It just didn't quite do it for me. Oh, there goes the dog. I'm 7, and I'm in the mood to read now. And I want to read something fun and easy, because I didn't love Magic for Liars, and I'm feeling a little, like, soured after that. I thought about reading a middle grade, because that would be a different genre, but I'm really not in the mood to read a middle grade. I don't know about y'all, but as I've become an adult, middle grades are either like the best thing I've ever read, or just, I didn't really like it, but that's okay because it's not made for me. So I want to read something really fun and quick, and I found this book on Amazon, and I think I'm gonna buy it on Kindle because it just seems like a treat and a half, and I'll show y'all. Called Soul of the Witch by Deanna Chase. I just read a book that was about magic, but more in like the magician sense and less in the Halloween sense, and this just looks absolutely ridiculous. I think it's like a semi-romance, I'm not really sure, but it's about a small town, and I really like small town books. An adult fantasy romance. It's not really in a different genre, but whatever, it's fine. I think I'm gonna read this. Started reading Soul of the Witch, and I'm 8% in. It's very short. It's only 230 pages. This is exactly what I want. It's a Hallmark romance, but in a witch small town. Like Halloween Town meets Hallmark. That's what I want. That's what I need. Hello. It's noon on Saturday. I have ASMR like rooms thing on. The goal today is to finish Soul of the Witch. It's a super fast read, so I think that'll be definitely possible. And I want to pick something else up. Because I have to read 2 more books after I finish Soul of the Witch. I might pick up an audiobook because I kind of want to paint today. So I think I'm gonna do this because I didn't finish it, and I have the physical book. It's actually signed, which is super cool, but I never got around to really actually listening to this or reading it, and I had a lot of trouble reading it. It's also an adult sci-fi, so that's different than all the other books I've read so far this week. Hi, it's 4. I haven't updated y'all in a long time. I have been listening to An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, and I am like 2 hours left in it, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm listening to it on double speed, and honestly, it's the easiest book I have ever listened to on double speed. It just makes everything feel more exciting. I'm really enjoying it. It's crazy that I didn't pick this book up sooner because it's so good. Who thought Hank Green was better than John Green? We all did. We all knew that. Anyway, I'm painting while I'm doing this, and I'll show you guys what I'm painting. I'm doing a painting from Practical Magic. This is very outside of what I normally paint. I normally paint stuff like that and like that. So, yeah, it's very different, but I'm having fun doing it. I haven't read more of Soul of a Witch. I read a little bit more. I read probably like 2 or 3 pages more. But that's just gonna be a breeze to get through. So we love that. I don't know what I'm gonna read tomorrow for my last book. Finished the painting, and I have an hour left of An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. Woo! Yes! It's later in the evening, and I completely forgot to do an update of me finishing An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. I loved it. I really, really loved it. It took me so long to read this book, and I think it was just fear that it was going to be more science fiction-y than it was. I don't really like sci-fi for the most part, but this was totally in my comfort zone, and it was so funny and weird and wonderful and hopeful and also dark. I really, really loved it. I'm really excited to pick up the sequel that just came out on audio. But yeah, I loved it. I did not read any more of The Soul of the Witch because I am doing other stuff this evening, so that's just not going to be a priority today, but I'm not super worried about it because I can definitely finish it tomorrow on the last day. I'm not really concerned. Hello. It's the last day of my self-imposed reading challenge. Basically, my plan for today is I have half of Soul of a Witch left, and I really have nearly no motivation to start anything else. So I think I'm gonna read a quick graphic novel. Hi, I haven't finished any books yet for today, but sometimes in life you just are having a tough week. Oh my God. And you think to yourself, yeah, it's Sunday, and I don't ever get to see my friends because I'm taking things seriously and they're not taking things as seriously, or they live far away, or they are also taking things seriously. Either way, not seeing your friends. And so you just think to yourself, wow, this really sucks. So I'm gonna make a margarita now. This is pretty bad mix, but we're gonna go with it. And then we're gonna go, oh shoot, you know what? Oh, this is clean. My parents make keto coffee in this mixer because they're much cooler than me. And then tequila. Half a cup of ice. Does this sound good? This could be a disaster. There's still some ice in here, which isn't preferable. I'm gonna do a round 2. I'm not impressed with my work here. We're just gonna freehand it a little bit. You just do it. You know, you figure it out, is what I always say. I'm okay with that. I want it more. It's a million times better. This is my margarita in this mug because I'm very fancy. I'm gonna say right now, I don't feel 110% that I'm gonna finish this challenge. I've decided to finish Soul of the Witch. I've sobered up and it's 8:30 and halfway through this book, but I really only have like 100 pages left. so I feel like I can still finish this. I also just want to finish it because I'm finding this quite boring, to be honest. Like, it is like a Hallmark movie, which I like, but it is like a Hallmark movie, which I don't like. I'm about 70% of the way through at 8:54. This thing is flying. They're casually talking about therapy, which is nice. It seems like the main guy character doesn't have a ton of toxic masculinity, which we love. He's, by the way, I don't know if I've explained this, the romance part of this. Basically, the main character has to come home to take care of her sick father, and she has 3 sisters in this, like, witch community in Northern California. And her long-lost love, her high school sweetheart, lives there and moved back after a nasty divorce. He's a single dad, and they reconnect. I don't feel anything for the two of them together, but I do like the fact they're casually talking about therapy. I have some sort of hair moment happening. It's like 9:30. I finished The Soul of a Witch. It's very 2.5 stars. Like, I think the world building was okay. I think the family dynamics were good. But it just wasn't long enough. It just wasn't established well enough, especially the romance. And I think kind of sometimes with romances where it's a second chance romance, authors think that they don't have to establish it as much because they're just like, well, they were high school sweethearts. And I wish there had been more establishing. But I think that, like, the romance was very healthy. It was very respectful. I really liked the way in which family was such a big part of the book. I think the casual witchiness of it was cute, although I wish it was a little more witchy. And I enjoyed it. It is 9:30, and I'm gonna read a graphic novel, and I'm gonna freaking complete this challenge. I did it! So I wanted to pick up something really short. So I picked up Tea Dragon Society by Kate O'Neill. Absolutely adorable. Oh my gosh, I think I'll buy a physical copy for how cute it was. Very, very short, very quick to get through. But I don't even care because I've completed my challenge of reading 7 books in 7 days, even though this afternoon I genuinely thought that I had failed. So I'm gonna go sit over there and give you all my final thoughts, my wrap-up of this week. Okay, I'm gonna do a little wrap-up to end this video. The first book that I read this week, I read it on Monday, and that's The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. This was a reread, Regency Era romance, the second book in the Bridgerton series. Definitely start with this book and ignore the first book. I read this on Kindle. I find Julia Quinn's books are perfect for an e-reading situation. I can't tell you why. It's an emotional response, I feel. I absolutely adored this reread. This was 5 stars. I would say I would recommend it if you like Regency Era romance for the most part. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. The second book I read this week, I read it on audio, and that is Wow No Thank You by Samantha Irby. I had never read a Samantha Irby book. She writes memoirs / personal essay collections. She's super funny. Her audiobook was great because she read it. I loved it. I laughed a lot. I thought a lot. I laughed a lot. Big fan. Definitely gonna read the rest of Samantha Irby's books. The third book that I read this week was probably one of my favorites of the whole year, and that's All Adults Here by Emma Straub. Emma Straub is an auto-buy writer for me, and I accidentally have 2 copies of this book to tell you how much I love Emma Straub. This is an adult general fiction, literary fiction novel about a dysfunctional family in a small town. I absolutely adored it, as y'all saw. I read this physically. This was 5 stars. The next book I read was my most disappointing read, and that is Magic for Liars by Sarah Galey. I listened to this on audio. I think the audiobook is really good. This is an adult fantasy, sort of supernatural book with murder mystery elements. Didn't quite work for me, but I think it's pretty good. Next book I read, I was starting to slow down at this point, was An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I listened to this on audio, and I absolutely adored it. It was a 5-star read. It was so good. I was so compelled and gripped the entire time. One of my favorite audiobooks I've listened to in a long time. So big fan, can't wait to listen to A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. Then, as you saw this evening, I got a second win and was able to finish my last 2 books. I read Soul of a Witch. This was a book I read on Kindle, and it was absolutely adequate. Am I going to read the other books in the series? Honestly, I might, because I was entertained enough to maybe want to. It's a pseudo rom-com sort of story set in a small witch community in Northern California with lots of family drama. Not perfect, not even that good, was entertained. And then finally I read A Tea Dragon Society. So I ended this whole experience with a graphic novel, which feels like the cherry on top, and I loved it. It was absolutely precious and so cute, and I think I'm gonna pick it up physically. So that was my week of reading 7 books in 7 days. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a lovely day.